and say hello. There we go.
Yeah,
And Dana, we're going to look for Hollywood squares.
I just did that. So we're not Hollywood Squares yet?
Um, Let me see. Well, we always have about a 10-second delay on Facebook, which shows up what we're saying in
Yeah.
about, I think it's about 10 seconds. So let's give it 10 seconds.
Huh, I'll just do it again.
Good.
Hollywood Squares, yes. Okay, good. Okay, good. Excellent. Alrighty, success. Okay, yes, episode 44. Hard to believe, Helena, that we've done these since January and we're going to be going to the end of the year. And by the end of the year, we'll be on episode 50. So we hope we're providing a lot of valuable information and educating. And yeah, we always do some healing and releasing with an emotion code session on a viewer. So today's topic is about not getting a good night's sleep. And I know that's prevalent in our society because it's sleep deprivation is one of the biggest problems that our society has. And personally, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but I think the time change should stop because I find, my body is adjusting to that 1 hour difference, and I don't think we need it anymore, but that's a personal opinion, and I best stop with that. I am Dana J. Smithers. I am one of the Emotion Code Divas. I have my fabulous Helena Jehnichen with me today, and we've got a great show for you. So on today's show, we're going to be working on someone having a bad night's sleep, but last week we worked on people that have nightmares, so I'm actually going to carry on with the same woman, Linda, from last week, so we can just really get rid of whatever these subconscious, these emotions are that are trapped in her body. So Helena and I are both certified emotion code, I say emotion code divas. We're not certified to be divas, but we are divas. So we are certified emotion code practitioners. And also I'm a certified law of attraction trainer and coach. I also guide people through a program called Discover Your Sacred Gifts if you're feeling a little bit lost. And then more recently, I've become a Reiki practitioner, and I like working on animals and their owners because it all goes back to them. So that's a little bit about me. Helena, please introduce yourself.
Hello, Dana and viewers. My name is Helena Jehnichen, and I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist as well as a certified emotion code practitioner. I use the two modalities together with my clients. I see clients in my office on Vancouver Island for hypnosis. I help people, men and women, release excess weight, overcome fears and phobias, such as dental fears. It's a specialty called hypnodontics. And also I'm known as the Stop Smoking Lady. I help people become smoke-free in one hypnosis session. And with all my clients, I like to use the emotion code because I find it so effective for releasing those negative trapped emotions. Yeah.
Okay. That's great, Helena. And, it's so very true that with all these other, like most people that become an emotion code practitioner do have other tools in their toolkit as well. But like Helena, I found when I was doing more business coaching and working on the clients, we could have a great marketing plan, business plan, but something just kept them stuck. So that was part of, just moving forward. So I just realized I haven't started the recording button. So I'm going to go in and do that right now. All right, we're just going to do a quick little recap here. My name is Dana J. Smithers. I am one of the Emotion Code Divas. I'm a certified Emotion Code practitioner, as is Helena Jehnichen, my partner in crime here, the other Emotion Code Diva. I'm also a certified Law of Attraction trainer and life coach. I guide people through a program called Sacred Gifts if they're not really clear on what their gifts are and how they can serve and how they can be happy in their life. And more recently, I've become a Reiki practitioner, and I like to work with animals. And today's show is on not getting a good night's sleep. So Helena is going to do the educational part. Hopefully you'll feel inspired about what we talk about, and I will be removing some trapped emotions from a viewer today. So Helena, over to you.
Good morning or good afternoon.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Good evening,
What's going on today?
So yeah, where is Helena today? I seem to always have a bit different backdrop, but I'm actually broadcasting today from my home in lovely Mill Bay on Vancouver Island. So I am a certified emotion code practitioner as well as a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I help people, men and women, release excess weight. I help people remove fears and phobias, especially with dental fears, and that's called hypnodontics. But my real passion is, and I'm known around town as the Stop Smoking Lady. I help people stop smoking in one hypnosis session. With all my clients, I like to use the emotion code because it's so effective.
Absolutely. It's a fabulous tool, and I appreciate all the work that you do, Helena, to help people, live happier lives, right? And be healthier as well, because once we can remove those trapped emotions along with what else you are offering and what I offer, then, the emotion code is just like clearing out more of those cobwebs and everything that's going on. Okay, so I'm just going to continue. Looks like Helena's having a little bit of technical issues, but I'm sure she'll pop back in. So I'm going to just go ahead and get started. And what we like to do is talk about the steps that we go through. And she's back. All right. So Helena, let's go ahead and just go through the steps that if someone's having an emotion code session with us, that they will go through. And you know what? If we have technical difficulties, we'll just carry on. We're a professional here, so we know how to do this.
Good stuff. All right. So, Jana, the first step in the process is getting permission.
Right. Even though, Helena and I might see somebody that, really needs some help from us, and we know it. Maybe it's chronic pain that they're in, or they've got headaches, or maybe someone's out and about and they're having a not very nice conversation, and we'd really like to be able to jump in and just, clear out some of those negative emotions that they're feeling so that they can feel calmer and less stressed and just have more balance in their body as well. So we must have their permission, though. We can't just jump in. And if we are working with, if a parent has called us for a child, we take that as permission to work with the child. So same with an animal, that will ask permission that way when we do that. So we get their permission is the first thing always, because we have to be in integrity, right? If someone is going to benefit, then we also need to become their proxy. So Helena and I do a lot of work by phone, a lot of work. I find that FaceTime is popular, as is Facebook chat. Now I'm doing a lot of my sessions that way because we both have clients all over the world. So it's just great to do that, or Skype, or whatever. Now with Helena, she has an office, so she also has clients or patients come in, and she does the work there, but we become the proxy. So what a proxy is just we become a substitution for us being able to tap into their subconscious and do the muscle testing. So we definitely connect with source, and then we just tap into their subconscious and go ahead and carry on with the next steps. Which are?
And the next step is we ask for the severity.
Exactly. So with the client today, the person I'll be working on, it was a 10 last week, and I'm just going to see, and I got that down to a 3 last week. So I'm going to continue working on her. So what that means is if something is really troublesome and it's maybe even preventing you from living the life that you want, and you know it, then chances are it's going to be an 8, 9, or a 10. For Helena and I, when someone says, well, it's I think it's a 3 or 4, they probably wouldn't be contacting us if it's a 3 or 4, but they don't necessarily understand the scale. So we will check in when we become their proxy and just check in and see if it is a 3 and 4. And chances are it's not. It'll go up, and oftentimes it ends up being a 10.
That's right. And so, Jana, the next step is we are going to use
Right.
a technique called muscle testing.
Right. So when we do the muscle testing, what we're doing is, as I said, we become their proxy. So we're tapping into their subconscious. So I have an agreement, as Helena does, with when I am acting in that on that person's behalf in their subconscious. Then to muscle test the emotions, where I use my index finger and thumb, and my middle and index finger or ring finger on the other hand. And the only questions that we can ask are the questions that we ask provide us with a yes or a no. So it's either a yes. So if I'm starting out and I'm saying my name is Dana and I want to work with Linda today, which I'm doing, then I'm going to be doing my name is Dana. Okay, Dana, my name is Linda. So then I've got a nice yes, connect with her. If I say, am I Dana, then I get a no. And so we go through that. And Helena, you have a little bit different technique, as all emotion code people do.
Yes, so my technique looks like this. I take these two fingers here, interlock them into a circle, and then when I think of the word yes, my fingers lock together like that, and they just won't come apart. And when I think of the word no, it just slips apart. They just won't hold together. It's very interesting. You don't need a lot of pressure, so just gently, yes, no, yes, no. Just the two questions we can ask, isn't that?
Right. Yeah. It's funny sometimes.
So we're asking questions.
Oh, go ahead.
So we're asking questions, and the questions are there any negative trapped emotions that are located on the emotion code chart? Here we go.
So the chart looks like this, and we're going to ask, so I'll be asking, is the trapped emotion that's preventing Linda from getting a good night's sleep in column A or column B? And then I'm going to ask, is it an even row or an odd row? And then what will happen is I'll get 5 emotions there, and I will go through each one and test and see which one comes up and which one I can clear. Because then we do ask the question. So I'll be asking, does this emotion belong to Linda? If I get a yes, that's good. Then I go ahead and remove it. Do I need to know more? If I get a no, then I don't ask any more questions. But if I get, does it belong to Linda, and I get a no, then I'm going to ask, is this inherited? And then I'm going to ask, is it inherited from her mother's side or father's side? And then it's mother's mother, mother's father, and down the line goes. Because your emotions can be trapped from conception, from generation to generation. So I was doing someone the other day. It was like, great, and you kind of forget, you keep going down the line, but wherever they are in the universe, remember, we're all energy is neither created nor destroyed. So somewhere out there, wherever that out there dimension is, we're releasing those trapped emotions all along the line if it's inherited. And how we do that is by using
a magnet.
Exactly.
Or magnets.
Yeah, so I've got a couple that I use. I have different ones as well. Yeah, these are hematite. And so what we do, the premise is that how Dr. Brad has created this technique of releasing and removing emotions is by working with our meridians and chakras, and we have 12 meridians, and we work with the governing meridian, and everybody starts from, and this is all part of Chinese medicine, so there's a lot of science to what we are doing. So from the governing meridian, top of the lip, if we're with a person, we're going to take this and we're going to just cancel and demagnetize that emotion that comes up. So let's say it's the emotion of blaming. So I'm going to ask if I can release it, and then I'm going to do 3 swipes. And because I'm not with the person, I'm just going to do it to the back of my neck, to the top of my spine, to clear it and demagnetize it and release it. But if somebody was with us, then we would run this all the way down their back.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And then the very last, very important key is hydrated practitioner. Dana, why is it important for us to be hydrated?
Well, if you're going to do this work, and even if for yourself, if you're drinking a lot of caffeine, you're getting a lot of chemicals in your body. And water has such a pure energy to it. And when we work with the emotion, it allows those emotions to be released. And you'll notice yourself that you'll feel so much better when you're drinking more water. When you're drinking caffeine or things like that, we get very dehydrated. So the water keeps things flowing And it's really a good representation of the life flow and the energy force and all of that. So Helena and I drink a lot of water anyway, but certainly when we're doing emotion code, and it's good for our clients to be
Hmm.
drinking a lot of water too. All
I
right.
find that my clients actually, some of them say, no, I don't drink a lot of water, and I ask them to have water with them. And during the session, they're sipping at their water and drinking more water themselves.
Yeah, it's just good for cleansing, and it definitely keeps things flowing. So, Helene, I don't know if you can see any viewers today. I can see that we've got our very loyal Natasha,
Hmm.
Paula, Samuel, and let's see if we've got a weather report here.
Yes.
It's dark here now after a blue sky day, right? With the weather change, not until January will we start to see it getting lighter at night. So it's going to be darker sooner right now.
Hmm.
So do you see
Hmm.
anyone else there, Helene?
I,
I
I
don't.
don't see anyone else there. I
Okay.
know that we've got a whole bunch of people watching, and
Okay.
yeah, so I believe that you're going to be working with our volunteer today.
Yes, I am. And I've got the emotions from last week as well. So I'm just curious sometimes if any of those come up. So for Linda, the not getting a good night's sleep is a 10. She does take, she has insomnia, so she does take some Xanax, and hopefully we can, remove enough emotions that she won't have to be taking drugs to do that. And I know Helena's going to talk about the subconscious and what we tell ourselves when we're going to sleep, or do we just have so much talk going on it's impossible to quiet the mind. So Helena, you go ahead. I'm just going to unplug and I'm going to start working on Linda then.
Wonderful. Good. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the subconscious mind, but I'm actually going to talk a little bit about nutrition and nutritional supplements that can help to get a good night's sleep. I worked for about 15 years off and on in health food stores. Actually, working in a health food store was one of my first jobs out of high school. I knew nothing about vitamins and herbs and nutrition, but my mother was a chemist. And early in the 70s, she actually found some books on nutritional eating and vitamins and supplements, did some studying because my brother had extreme, extreme eczema. And he was only maybe about 5, 6 years old, and she didn't want to do the drug route, so she found that eating a certain way for him cleared up his eczema, adding in certain nutrients such as evening primrose oil, quite high dosages for the first 3 to 6 months, and then lowering that amount. But it was interesting that the food, and the food was simply artificial flavors and artificial colors. Once she removed that from his diet, it had nothing to do with sugar or anything. Well, he didn't get that much sugar. It was those two ingredients, artificial flavors and artificial colors. His eczema went away. The doctor was absolutely amazed. My mom was more amazed, and so therefore our family got introduced into vitamins, minerals, and herbs and a different way of eating. And so that was about the 80s when I started working in a health food store. And there were certain common elements, common issues that people would come in for. And one of them was weight release. Some people needed to gain weight. They were so underweight, they just couldn't keep weight on. Diuretics. We sold so many herbal diuretics. People bloated and so forth. And the laxatives, and so isn't that interesting? It's like very gut orientated. Nowadays we would suggest taking probiotics for both of those things. For diuretics, instead of an herbal diuretic, we suggested multi B vitamins because B6 is a very effective nutrient, because a lot of people were feeling they were bloated around their menstrual cycle, women. But the other very common thing was sleep issues. People have had sleep issues forever. So one of the first things that we would suggest to people is taking B vitamins during the daytime, a B complex during the daytime that would allow them to help their nerves. And their B vitamins are excellent for their nerves. as well as magnesium. Now, a lot of people know about the benefits of magnesium for restless legs, muscle cramps, and so forth. But taking magnesium in the evening is actually a wonderful way to relax the physical system, and it give you a good night's sleep. There are other herbs such as valerian. There's herbal combinations where you can take teas. Chamomile tea has been used for centuries for helping people relax and slip into a nice, calm evening, good night's sleep. The other thing that's really important for a good night's sleep is that your adrenal gland is not in overdrive, or if your adrenal gland is exhausted, that you repair your adrenal gland, because your adrenal gland is the key gland that supports your entire physical system. When your adrenal gland is not working correctly, then none of your other glands are working correctly, and therefore your body is not producing the right hormones and chemicals it needs. So it's really a important gland to take care of nutritionally. And one of the things is that the adrenal gland will start pumping out cortisol when a person is stressed. And you can tell if you're having a lot of cortisol in your system if you see a ring around, a fat around your stomach area, especially that donut shaped. That's where the cortisol gets stored. So how does this all affect your night's sleep? Well, when your body is pushing out from the adrenal gland adrenaline, you're wired. And when your body is then exhausted and your adrenal gland is exhausted, it's pushing out more cortisol. Your body is still wired. So to get the good night's sleep from a nutritional point of view is caffeine. Caffeine is the number one thing to eliminate from your diet. Now, I really enjoy the taste of coffee. So one of the fabulous things I do is I just have decaf coffee. I just switch to decaf coffee. Now, you might say, I can't wake up in the morning without a cup of coffee. Just can't do it. Well, just like if I hear my clients say, I just need a glass of wine at nighttime. I just need it. I have to have it. I can't go without it. Well, then when you are at such a state when you really, really need something, then it's a good time to take a look at it and see how is it actually controlling your life and how is it replacing other things that could be used in place. So if you're on a lot of caffeine, just starts to switch it up from have a half a cup of caffeine and half a cup of decaf, and slowly just switch it to decaf. At the beginning, I know that I had a headache in the mornings when I didn't have my caffeine, so I just had a little bit of caffeine with my decaf, and finally now I don't drink caffeine. And you know what's really interesting? Now, if I have a cup of coffee with caffeine in it, I can feel the jitters right away. So I know that when I was drinking caffeinated coffees or caffeinated beverages, or even caffeine tea, a lot of tea, I know I was jittery, and therefore, how was I going to settle down at nighttime? My body was jittery. So, caffeine, remove that from your diet, please, if you can. That would be wonderful. At least reduce it. The other thing that we can do to have a good night's sleep and to help your adrenal gland is gentle exercise. Not intense exercise, gentle exercise. A really good brisk walk, a nice swim in a pool, gentle yoga, anything that's gentle on your system. If your adrenal gland is burnt out and it's not working that well anymore and you feel exhausted if you don't take that caffeine or that energy, whatever it is, then you know that you need to be more careful and easy on your body. You know, yoga is very, very strengthening, and I know Dan is a yoga practitioner, and walking briskly, moving those arms from side to side, breathing in deeply, all gentle work that we can do for our system, allowing our adrenal glands to settle down. And the other thing is I used to work a lot and work long hours, and the only time I had for the gym was at night at the end of my workday. And I wondered why I couldn't settle down and go to sleep before 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, I had just pumped up my adrenal gland to give me all the adrenaline that I needed to complete my workout. So When I switched to having now my exercise during the daytime, and remember, exercise is also accumulative, so you can get lots of exercise during the day by just doing different stuff. And so for sleeping at night, try that, adding that magnesium at nighttime, drinking that chamomile tea, reducing or eliminating caffeine from your diet, and also, very important, is to state the words as you're drifting off to sleep. I'm looking forward to a really relaxing, peaceful, and restful, deep sleep. Program that into your subconscious mind each and every night. You'll start to notice that your patterns have changed. You'll be finding yourself drifting off to sleep easily and effortlessly as I drift off now to sleep.
Yeah, I'm sitting here going, oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? What I find with my clients when they come into my office and they want to get hypnotized, well, one of the things I like to do is, first of all, have a conversation with them, do an intake with them, and I find that I will start to talk a lot slower, and they'll be following, and they'll start to relax and calm down and settle down. And it's a process. It's a process to allow the body to settle down. So I used to actually listen to a audio recording from a gentleman named Paul McKenna. He's a British hypnotist, and he's fantastic. He's got a book out there called I Can Make You Sleep. And I highly recommend that book because I actually read that book before I became a hypnotherapist. And he has an audio recording along with the book. And it, if I'm traveling or something, I actually have that on my phone. I plug in my earbuds and I just drift off to his voice. I can hear him start to talk, and in a moment you'll be closing your eyes and I'm out, just like that. Because I've just programmed, I know where I'm going to go, and so it's like, all right, I'm just going to go there. Mind is a powerful thing. So are nutrients, and so are the foods that you ingest into your body, as well as the more gentle exercise for your body to allow your system to just be calmer more often.
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks, Helena. I didn't hear all of that, but yeah, I certainly agree with the exercise and the right nutrients and that. I do my yoga every morning. I meditate for about, well, I do my Reiki for about 45 minutes. So it's all meditation, and then I do my yoga for maybe half an hour or something. I used to do things when I worked more in corporate at night. Right, but you're right. You get that busyness in your mind, and all of that goes on. And another thing that you can learn too is you can learn to do Reiki on yourself, and that's one of the things that I do at night as well. Is just tell myself that for all of tonight I'm having a peaceful, restful sleep. For all of tonight I'm having a peaceful, and I do it 3 times. I'm having a peaceful, restful sleep, and then for all of tonight I'm having a peaceful, restful sleep. Because also from a law of attraction perspective, you're setting that intention. So you've already let the universe know what you're expecting to go on, and you're asking for it in a way. You're very clear. I'd love to have a peaceful, relaxing night's sleep. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at something interesting happened here. So I'll share that as well. So with Linda, the emotion, so we started out with a 10, and we're down to a 0 for this. It doesn't mean that even though we can get things down to the 0, it's the processing that has to go on. And Helena and I have no control over that processing. Helena, as a hypnotherapist and emotion code practitioner, has control over certain things, but what the individual does or how they do their processing isn't anything that we can make suggestions about things to do for good self-care, but how that comes out, we don't know. Sometimes people have told me they've gotten a migraine or something, and I just say, just sit with it, just let all those emotions, there's more things to come out, but usually people just feel lighter and a bit better. So what came out for Linda was self-abuse, trapped emotion release, self-abuse, taken for granted, feeling lost in her life, bitterness, discouragement, and this is a funny little trapped emotion called wishy-washy. So it's kind of lighter than some of the other ones, right? It's kind of like where you can't make up your decision. Do you want this? Can't make up your mind. Do you want this or you want this? Do you flip, flop, flip, flop? And it could be about relationships. It could be about, might even be a conversation that Linda's having with herself about when she should go to bed or when she should go to sleep, or I should do this or I shouldn't do this or whatever. So it's a little bit wishy-washy. So we've gotten rid of that so you can be more decisive. Also, pride came up. I released that, the trapped emotion of discouragement. And I asked if I was finished, if there were any more trapped emotions, and I got a no, there are no more. But just something in me I just felt like there was something else here. So I asked the question, and Helena and I, Dr. Brad doesn't talk a lot about past lives. He just talks about conception or preconception. So for me, for whatever reason, the question came up in my mind, is there some past life trauma? And immediately it was a yes. So what came up there and what I released was longing. And longing was something that Linda had in the first session that I did with her around the nightmares and things. So longing for something to be different, despair, abandonment, creative insecurity, and then terror and horror were the stronger emotions that came up. So I didn't ask for any more information around that, and nothing came up. So I just asked, can I release it? And it said yes. So none of these emotions were inherited for Linda. These are all her emotions that have been released at this time. So Linda, maybe you can post in there or even send me a private message just to let us know how you're feeling and how the nightmares and you getting a good night's sleep is happening for you.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, that past life stuff is very interesting. My clients, when I do the hypnosis with them, and there's a lot of times that there's past life stuff that comes up, and they're quite interested with that. And if it does come up, it is amazing the transformation. Mm-hmm. It is, because some people, the concept is that that we're bringing those emotions from a previous life, and those events are just kind of energetically tucked away with us. And because our subconscious mind is aware of absolutely everything, past, present, and future, that there could be something there that is just being held on. And this work that we do, Dana, is quite intriguing and interesting, but also for some people a little woo-woo. But hey, we just go with whatever shows up. And
that's right.
If my client feels better after that they've had a past life experience, then that's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the people that you and I are a vibrational match for, Helena, are most likely going to be okay. With that, and understand that it doesn't always come up, but if I'm prompted and it's there, then I'm going to ask the questions about that. But again, we don't have to know a lot of stories about people. In fact, sometimes they get so bogged down in their story that they continue to tell the story. And this is why the emotion code is so good, because let's stop the storytelling, right? Let's start feeling good about life and enjoy things and get on. So Helena, how can people reach you?
So people can reach me through my website, which is flourishhypnosis.com. And then I have an emotion code page, /emotion-code. It's on my services page. I also have a Facebook page, Flourish Hypnosis, as well as a YouTube channel.
Excellent. Thank you. And you can find me at danasmithers.com /emotion-code. Reiki is also there. And my YouTube channel is Empowered Women in Business. I started out my entrepreneurship many years ago with Empowered Women in Business. So I keep that, but I have both of those URLs. So next week's show, I'm going to be talking and doing the educational piece about grieving. And Helena will be working on someone. So if you are grieving, now, a lot of people think that grieving has to do with somebody dying. It can, or an animal dying. It can. But there's so many times in life that we're actually grieving the break of a relationship. It could be losing a job. It could be maybe you're moving and you don't really want to move. Excuse me, Helena. So other places of grieving. It's not just about dying, but there are typical stages. And there's about 5 to 7 stages that everybody goes through. So it's a really interesting topic, and it's often one when I do have conversations with people. I think I mentioned this last week, working with someone that her husband has passed, and we were about a year and a half ago, and we're working on some weight release, but the weight release ends up being about the emotions that are under there. And I just don't think she had really realized how long grieving there's no time limit on grieving. You know, for some people it might be a shorter time, for other people not so much, but we do know that if we can help you clear those emotions, you will have a much more peaceful journey over the grieving. It's not that you're not going to go through it, but it's not going to be so emotionally wrenching as it can be if you don't get any help with it. So whether it's hypnosis, emotion code, Reiki, or whatever, you know, find someone that can help you, you know, get through that process, because it's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure. All right, then, Helena. Okay, just say hello also to Kelly May Glover. Hi, Kelly May. We love that you're watching.
Yes.
Yeah, so we started off a little bit funny today, but whatever. It's that time change. So next week, as I said, is episode 45, Grieving. If you would like us or Helena to do a session on you, please let us know, either in the Facebook group, or you can PM us, and then we'll just get together and ask some questions about what's going on. So, yeah. And please share. We still are very excited about this program. We do know that we are making a difference in people's lives. So please share and ask your friends to like us. So bye for now.
Bye.